What's up, guys, and welcome to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video. I am doing another roster review today. Yes, I have slowed down on them greatly. Let me explain why quickly so some of you don't get frustrated. Many people that ask me to do a roster review, like 90% of them will have around the exact same galactic power, like 2.5 million galactic power or 3 million galactic power, and probably a little higher, because since everybody's in that same situation, the same advice is going to apply to almost everybody. So it kind of be, redundant to continually do the same thing over and over. Yes, Patreon subscribers are going to get their videos done right away because it helps me out tremendously. But I am going to slow it down a little bit, do one every once in a while, because it would just wear me out, and I don't want to get worn out. And I have some other good videos to do. But today we're going to be looking at Darth Fusion, and what extremely impresses me about his roster here is he has a 2.2 million galactic power. That's not the highest galactic power in the world. But when we go back and look at this again, you'll see that he's able to attain 78th in Arena and 24th in Fleet Arena. Very impressive. So I'm going to go through, look at his roster, see where I think he's at, see where I think he could be in the future, talk about some of the Zetas and his mods, and we're going to go from there. So he obviously has Traya, which is amazing. Especially for where he's at, and he has both Zetas on her. He has her at 2 stars. So he runs a Sith team, as we saw, obviously. He runs Nilus, Traya, Scion. Let me quick look here again. And he also runs Palpatine and Thrawn. Okay, you know what? Let me see. To help him climb a little bit, I think we could throw a tank in there. But we'll get to that. We'll get to the arena team here in a little bit. So we're going to go, basically faction by faction, see where he's at here. We're going to look at his bounty hunters, and not a very important faction to farm in the game right now unless you're specifically looking for... Well, I take that back. Character-wise, you want to get Chewbacca, who's a great character. But the Falcon is one of the, if not the best ship in the game, and it can help you achieve first. You can go from 200th to first if you put together the right lineup. And you're going to need Cad Bane, Bosk, Boba, and IG-88, which it looks like you have here, because all of those characters are going to be able to get you those scoundrel ships. So well done with that. Otherwise, there's other teams that have come out in the Heroic Sith Raid besides the Aura team that are able to solo it. There's a Finn team. So right now, are they important besides the Falcon and Chewie? Not really. So again, not something that we're going to base your roster off of. It's just something that, it's a decent team for Territory Wars and Grand Arena. It can help you in different areas there. But otherwise, yeah. You have all of your clones at 7 stars for 2.2 million galactic power. That's pretty impressive, because we know we're getting the Separatist rework and the Droid rework here. So what's going to happen when these guys get reworked? I'm excited. I hope they add new clones as well. I hope they kind of add Old Man Rex, by the way. Maybe he can be a secret leadership ability or something. But I hope that they become a viable faction. We're going to have a Grievous rework. We know that that's coming out, and some of these other droids are getting reworked, and new droids are coming out. I hope it can be clones eventually, too, because I actually love the clones. So well done with that. Now let's take a look at your droids. BB-8, R2, two most important droids right now. So, General Grievous you have at 5 star. Now here's where I kind of think this through myself. If Grievous is going to be the meta, and I actually kind of hope he is part of the meta for a while. I don't want him to be the only meta team in existence. I like some diversity. But if I were you right now, and I had a little bit of extra Cantina energy to spend, because that's where you can get this, I would be farming the B2 Super Battle Droid. Now, I'm going to look at Canderous quick, because obviously the Old Republic characters take precedent to get Revan. That is automatic right now. And, well, see, Canderous is a character you don't have farmed yet, and you can get him from the Cantina store, or not Cantina store, the Cantina Energy nodes. Maybe you want, and you have Darkside Bast at 4 star. Maybe you want to split the two. Again, we don't know how dominant the droids are going to be with the Grievous rework and with the Destroyer droid and the B1 until they all completely come out. But maybe it's something to think about, putting some of your Cantina energy into the B2 Super Battle Droid. And Grievous, work on getting him to 7 star. And if you want to maybe hold off just a little bit until we know what the complete rework is, which is going to be, I think, like the The 20th is when we get his reworked kit. The 22nd is when we get like the droid to cut. And by the 25th, we should know exactly what's what, who's who, and where everything can fit together. So if you want to hold off until then, I understand. But BB-8 and R2, very important droids, and you have T3 at 7 stars. So again, and quickly looking back down here, you have HK-47 at 7 stars, which is huge because next month something big is happening with HK-47. We don't know if he's going to be needed for Darth Revan or Darth Malak, but in the last post, the Road Ahead post, it said meat bags, something about meat bags at the end of the post, and of course, meat bags is a HK-47 saying, and you have it at 7 stars, and he could eventually fit into a droid lineup as well. We don't know, so good work on that. Let's take a look at your Empire characters right now. Palp, Thrawn, Vader, Grand Moff Tarkin, and to top it all off, you have an Imperial Trooper team. Let me see here, Snowtrooper 2, 3. You have the same Imperial Trooper team I use, which is fantastic. Now, most people would say Range Trooper is better, which he might be, but I just haven't farmed him yet. But you have a very solid Imperial Trooper team here that's great in all aspects of the game. Territory War, Grand Arena. With the Veers lead, actually, if you're thinking of who to Zeta next, and you're looking to really help yourself along, especially get 48 stars in the Imperial Retaliation of territory battles, the Zeta on General Veers is going to help you in quite a few places of the game. Of course, we're going to want to probably talk about when we look how close you are to Revan with that, but Veers is definitely a Zeta you should look at because you have the main Empire characters here. Great job, and you have a good Imperial Trooper team. I'm extremely proud of you for that. Well done. Well done with that. Ewoks, where are we at with Ewoks? Well, you know what? You have 3 of them at 7 stars already. I would work on getting Chief Chirpa and Paplu. Well, see, here's the thing. Because the best Ewok lineup is a Chief Chirpa lead, Paplu, Logray, Wicket, and Ewok Elder. But if you're able to get 5 of the Ewoks to 7 stars, year 11, you should be able to get 3PO at 7 stars. It's much easier to do if you have Logray and Wicket both at 7 stars. I didn't have Logray, but I had a Wicket, and I was able to accomplish it. And these are still great teams for Territorial War and Grand Arena. So work on getting Chief Chirpa up there first. You don't want to really spread yourself too thin with characters you're working on. I understand that. Wicket's nice to get to 7 stars because you're able to get a few extra Zetas every month. When you have him to 7 stars, you unlock that Endor. Is it the Endor Escalation? Is that the event that allows you to get those extra Zetas? But definitely be working on Chief Chirpa. I can see you've been working on some of them here because 3PO is actually, he's going to be more useful in the future, and he's a fun character to use right now. On a priority scale, is this massively important? No, it's not game defining at the moment. First Order, again, well, look at this. You have 5 characters at 7 stars already for the First Order, so you can fit together a decent Grand Arena Territory War team. Probably First Order Executioner is the next character you'd want to take to 7 stars, obviously, which it looks like you're doing in the First Order faction. Are they important right now? No. Unless you're a First Order lover, we have to wait only like 9 more months, 10 more months now until the new movie comes out, and hopefully they will get better. But they're not meta-defining. They're decent on defense in Territory War, Grand Arena, certain areas that you can use them. But otherwise, just not super important. But you have 5 of them at 7 stars, so well done with that. Galactic Republic. You know what? With the Galactic Republic here, I'm actually just going to break this down into the Jedi and clones, so we're not even going to look at this right now because we're going to get to Jedi, and we already looked at clones. So let's look at your Geonosians. You have all the Geonosians at 7 stars. Maybe there's a a Separatist lineup that will be able to work with the Grievous rework that could be pretty cool to use. But I know that you use the Geonosians in Fleet Arena, so well done with that, having them all to 7 stars and probably geared up more than I do. Imperial Troopers we looked at. Again, amazing. Where you at with your Jawas, it don't matter because they don't mean nothing right now, really, unless you're using them somehow in the... When you get the bonuses for them in Territory, that's actually pretty fun. But now let's look at the Jedi. You have Jedi Knight Revan. Oh my gosh, wait a second here. I completely blanked out here. You have Jedi Knight Revan at 7 stars, Gear 12. Why was I missing that for some reason? I'm guessing... You run Traya 1 because you just got her and it's fun to use. Or 2 because it's a lot harder to win with Revan unless you have all of his Zetas Zeta'd. So, I take back what I said about Zeta and Veers earlier. please, for all that is good and holy, put your next Zetas on Revan, the direct focus, and hero ability, and you're going to be able to get up to first in arena. Because you have Jolie Zeted, you have Bastila Zeted, which isn't important when you use her in this lineup. You have Grandmaster Yoda, you have Jedi Knight Revan, you have General Kenobi, you have the whole lineup ready to go. Just go get yourself, get first. Seriously, though, I can understand your predicament, because it's not... You're going to lose quite a bit, actually, if you don't have the rest of the Zetas on Revan. So really be focusing on that. I'm reading your mind right now. I actually think that's what you're doing. So I digress from earlier, not knowing if you didn't have Revan. I apologize. You do absolutely fantastic. Night Sisters. Your Night Sister squad is way better than mine is, and you only have 2.2 million galactic power. You obviously can dominate in the Heroic Sith Raid, which is why I see you have Trey at 5 stars. Man, well done with this, because you have... Probably the other character you'd want to work on getting to gear 12 would be, you know, I guess I don't know, old Daka? I'm not going to question you and your Night Sisters. Like you said, they're better than mine, so well done. Extreme. That's an A+ on that, because these are great characters. They're going to help you in all aspects of the game, obviously. Old Republic characters, you have all them to 7-star that are important, and please be working on Canderous. You know, I said to maybe split your energy between Canderous or B2. We don't know what character, if it's going to be Malik or Darth Revan, that these are going to be needed for, but seriously try to be farming them. And hopefully Juhani and Karth become farmable pretty soon here as well. They're the other 2 characters that we just don't have ready to go yet for that. Phoenix, the Everlasting squad, one of the best squads in the game, obviously, to have early on, is the best squad to have early on in the game. You have Thrawn at 7 stars. You have other good factions. So, you know what? Your Phoenix, maybe at some point in time, gets Sabine to 7 stars, but not of great importance right now. Chopper, I think, could be somewhere used in a droid lineup in the future if we really get a good rework here. Let's look at your Rebels. Rebels were obviously meta-dominant for the longest time. And you do have Chewbacca to 5 stars. I think I saw that earlier. So if you want to get him to 7 stars, get those bounty hunters up there, obviously. But with CLS... See, and you have Raid Han too. What's great is you were able to prioritize when you got into the game where you at. You have Revan already at 2.2 million galactic power. That's darn good. And you have Traya. So obviously some of the other meta-defining characters that came earlier in the game aren't probably, you're not going to have them leveled up as far, which is okay. If they're, besides getting the Zetas on Revan, if there's 2 characters we're going to talk about getting a Zeta on right now, CLS, is that as important right now? No. Getting R2's getting his combat analysis is going to be important as well. And Raid Han, getting his shoots first is also going to be extremely important. So definitely Zetas you should think about, because they help you in all aspects of the game. You know, there are some CLS teams in Arena right now that you run with 3PO, Solo, R2-D2, Chewie, CLS. But it's not just that. They're great for Territory War, Grand Arena, and I think they're going to be great in other areas of the game as well. And speaking of that, you need them for the Millennium Falcon, Solo, and Chewbacca. So definitely think about that, where you're going with that, with those Zetas, with the R2 combat analysis and Han Solo. But again, you know your roster more than I do. You know, I take a look at it. You know where the idea of where you're headed in the game, and where you can go from there. So now let's look at your Resistance. See, you have Jedi Training Rey. Well done. Then you have BB-8 and R2 both with Zetas. Resistance Trooper and Scavenger Rey. So that is a very solid Phase 1 Heroic Sith Raid team right here. It's going to get so much better if you put that other Zeta on R2. If you're looking to get Trey to 7 stars really quickly and do massive amounts of damage in Phase 1, or pretty darn good amounts of damage, please put that other Zeta on R2-D2. But again, Revan takes priority. Rogue One, we kind of look at when we go with Rebels. You have Cheered at 7 stars. If you're looking to, you know, maybe do a little better in 3v3 areas of Grand Arena or the territory battles, Baze and Jin, characters you're probably going to want to work on eventually. Scoundrels, we've looked at most of these. So Nest is a great character. Otherwise, you're doing extremely well. Farm the solo characters if you have some time, if you wanted, you know, that can help you tremendously in Territory War and Grand Arena. Separatist, you know what, we kind of talked about all these characters already, so not much to say. IG 100 Magna Guard going to get a rework. Sith. Now, this is the team right now. You're obviously running an arena, and you have your Sith. You know what you're doing with your Sith. But that Bastila Shan Fallen, work on getting her to 7 stars. Please be spending on energy on that right now. And then Smugglers, we've looked most of those with Scoundrels, kind of what I said. And then Tuskens, does it matter? No. So really, going through your lineup here, very solid lineup for 2.2 million galactic power. What should you focus on? What should you be working on? So we're talking about the droid meta that's potentially coming. We don't know if it's going to be meta. We're just speculating. How long will it be meta, and will it absolutely be able to outcompete with Revan all the time? See, you have Grievous at 5 stars. If I were you right now, I probably wouldn't start farming Grievous or the B2. B2 is somebody, obviously, like I said earlier, you could start to be working on slowly. But it's going to take a while for you to get all those droids and those Separatist characters up to 7 stars and geared properly and modded correctly to actually be, again, dominant with it. And since we know Darkside Bastila, Karth, Canderous, HK-47, those characters are going to be needed for something within the next month or two, probably Revan or Malak, that will be more meta-defining. I would start focusing and continue focusing on the Old Republic characters, because I'm guessing literally any moment, any time, we're going to get Karth and Juhani farmable. Please, this should be your top priority, in my opinion, getting these characters to 7 stars, because the issue with the whole thing is if Grievous comes out and the Droideka comes out and it's mind-blowing in the sense that you're not going to be able, Traya can't beat them, Revan can't beat them, then you can look at farming them. But this is my gut feeling and opinion, so if I'm wrong, I apologize if it sets you back at all. I wouldn't be spending time, like I said, the B2 you can split some energy on, but after looking at everything else, just be farming Canderous, just be farming Bastila Shan Fallen, and then I understand with where you're at, the gear crunch is hard, so you're spending some crystals on gear as well. But this is where your priorities should be, in my humble opinion. So Zeta priorities, we talked about. Jedi Knight Revan, huge, very important. Be working on farming Bastila Shan, Canderous, and like I said, at any time, Karth and Juhani should become farmable, so make sure you're working on them. Now let's look at your mods. I'll look at the mods in your arena team, because if they are solid, I know the mods for the rest of your characters are going to be solid as too. You have a health and a defensive set on Traya. Let's look at her speed. She has a speed of 242. Well done. Her potency is at 37.94. Probably could raise that a little higher, but we have to be able to remember her abilities, because they're going to be gaining 40% potency the way it is. So if you're able to land some decent debuffs with that, and you know you're going to be giving Isolate no matter what. If she can be survivable, she can go decently fast. And let me see her offense here, because she has, 49-25. She uses special offense. We have to make sure we always check on that. Yep, special damage. Special damage. You want to make sure she gets dazed, guys. That's extremely important. So if you're able to work with her, obviously, survivability, speed, that's what's important with her. Yes, offense for damage. I think I have some offensive sets on my trail, which obviously I have her at 6 star finally. I'll get her to 7 star probably within the next month or two. But, good job with the mods right there. You know what you're doing. Let's put it that way. Of course, now the game is in the middle of a freeze. There we go. Perfect. Let's take a look at Scion, where you have a health and potency. Let's look at his speed first of all. So he has 247 speed. Actually well done. You have some decent potency on him. Also, remember, with Traya's leadership ability, he's going to be getting 100% potency. So he is the tank you use in this lineup right now. Let's actually, how much damage can he do? Decent amount of damage, actually, 39.55. He does physical damage. And he dispels. And the biggest thing is getting to Held by Hatred, because then he becomes, so hard to take out. And you have health and potency, so you have him survivable again, like we said. Now, if you're going to continue using this lineup and not use Revan, which I would highly suggest using Revan when you get those other Zetas on him, you're probably going to want to throw another tank into this lineup. But we'll look at that here in a second. Palpatine. Wow, speed set and health. Good job. 243 speed. Have some crit damage on him. Have some 54% potency. And let's look at his 5,800 special offense. Great job. He's going to be doing lots of damage with that. you know, when you look at the Traya and the Scion, and you look at these characters and the mods, you know, are health mods and defensive mods necessarily exactly? That's, you know, that's what you should put on her. You know, sometimes you should be putting offense on Traya, more potency on Traya, but you're getting the basic. When I look at his mods, he's getting the basic statistics. At 5 stars, he's getting her more survivable. He has some potency on her enough with her leadership ability, and she can do some decent damage. So, you know, is it a speed set? Is it an offense set? No, but I see his thought process with that. Same with Scion. You're making him the actual tank of the game in your team. And then with Palpatine, again, you want him to go and deal damage. So, well done with that. Let's take a look now at Thrawn. Let's see how fast your Thrawn is. So you don't have a speed set on him. You have a health set. Let's see how fast he is, actually. So a speed of 266, yeah, pretty average. If you're going to use a Thrawn, in my opinion, in a Traya lineup like this, you'd want to have him go as fast as possible to get that fracture off quickly, to be able to completely stop the enemy team in their tracks. So probably want to put a speed set on Thrawn. Prioritize, if you're looking at priorities, speed set on Thrawn would probably be better than the speed set on Palpatine. Just my opinion. Because the name of the game with Thrawn, especially in this lineup, is speed. Like I said, getting that fracture off. That's what's extremely important. So maybe you want to switch, put some speed mods on him. And then Nilus, let's see where we're at with Nilus. You have, well, you have a crit chance, a health, and a tenacity set. What's his speed? 221 speed? Decent. What is Nilus's job again? It's to get to annihilate. So it's to increase the cooldowns with Drain Force. Increase the cooldowns of the opposing team. Decrease yours so you can get to annihilate quicker, because that's a one-shot kill no matter what. In Ceaseless Craving, that's to dispel. So is he here to do massive amounts of offense on his basic attacks? No. Increase the opposing team's cooldowns, get to annihilate, and dispel with his basic, and put ability block on there as well. And you're going to also be decreasing Drain Force, stuff like that. So that's important to do. So again, you know, maybe a different speed set on here if you want with Nilus. But again, I see what you're doing with the mod. Wow, he's obviously not going to be getting stunned or get any debuffs on him. So you obviously put a lot of mods on here that have some good tenacity in the secondaries. Again, like I said, I've stated this many times, probably be trying to get these teams onto Revan, or get your arena team to Revan. Again, like I said, it's with the Zetas. But with your mods, you know what? Well done. I see that you at least know what you're doing. Some of the sets probably aren't exactly the way they should be. But look, you have 2.2 million galactic power, and you're able to get to 78th in arena. Well done. And then you have the Geonosian ships with the Houndstooth. Get that to 7 stars, please, as quickly as possible. Obviously, you are. Same with the Xanadu Blood, the IG-2000. And I can see you're looking at working on the Sith Fighter and B-28 Extinction class, because when I go into your roster like this, all of the ships that you have favorited are the ones that I see on here as well. So good job with that. So where are you at with 2.2 million galactic power? You are set extremely well. You probably couldn't be doing any better in the game with your galactic power and with your roster. So well done with that. I mean, look, you have Hermit Yoda as well. Do you have Wampa? I don't think you had Wampa. I think I would have saw it. But, you know, really, like I said, where should you go in the future? Be working on those new Old Republic characters. And be, you know, consider the droids, like I said. Hold off until we actually see what else is going on. But if you have any questions, specifically, message me on Discord, because I obviously can't answer everything here in the video. I just wanted to kind of let you know where you are at, how you're doing with mods, and, you know, you're pretty solid at the game. So again, any questions, message me on Discord, please. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please smash the subscribe button, like the video, click the notification bell so you can be alerted to all videos that I post. Also, I'm leaving a link to my Discord server and Patreon page in the description below. Please make sure to check that out and leave comments in the comment section. Do you disagree with me in some of this review? What are some of the other things he should be doing? Do you agree with me? What are some other Zetas you think he should maybe do? Should he be focusing on droids and Grievous for Separatists? You know, and leave video ideas as well. The video ideas you guys give me are what keep me moving, and usually I use most of them. So otherwise, peace out, and may the Force be with you.